Hello and welcome. My name is Commander Crimshadow and welcome back to another of my Elite Dangerous Codex videos. In this episode we're going into a difficult part of the Black to visit the Aster Pod and the Aster Tree. They have some similarities to the Peduncle Pod, but are visibly quite distinct and have some unique behaviors. Located deep in the Formorian Frontier, the Aster Pod was probably my least favorite to get to. In order to visit each variant, it required not only my jump condo with a range of 75 or more light years, but at least 8 FSD boosts. So if you want to head out to visit these pods, please be prepared not only to get in, but also keep enough FSD boosts to get back out. Well, that is if you don't take the quick way back. There are 5 known variants of the Aster Pod. The first here is the Cereum. The Aster Pod is a large-sized biological, similar in size to its cousin, the Peduncle Pod. Astropods don't have striking coloration differences, as their defining color is really only present on the outside of the small hair-like structures at their bottom. For the Cereum, they are teal. This next variant, the Lindigoticum, has blue distinguishing lights. I realize you are kind of having to take my word here. There's no really good way to capture it on video, but I am going to have a slide at the end of all the variants with some pictures I was able to take showing their lights. Next up is the Prasinum Aster Pod. This one is at least slightly different, as it has a sort of green shade or tint to the entire surface. It also has green distinguishing lights. And fourth we have the Puniceum. Again, those lights are very small, but for the Puniceum they are purple. So these first 4 variants of the Aster Pod I've had some issues with. It has been a month or two since my last visit to them, so it may have been fixed, but I was only able to get their first trait, which is Moves Without Apparent Purpose. I believe that they should have one more trait, which should read something like Retreats Rapidly if Fired Upon, which is what I'm showing to you now. The last variant up is the Rubellum Master Pod. The first easy thing to notice is that the whole pod has a red or pink tint to it. In addition, it does have red distinguishing lights. The Rubellum has a unique single trait, and was the only one I could verify that I had discovered all the traits for, even if it was also incorrectly described. Now in the Codex, the trait is listed as Releases Spores if Approached, and I'll show you what that looks like, but I will say it has nothing to do with approaching unless approaching also includes ramming, as the spore launch only occurs when you ram or attack the pod. The spores will cause a corrosive effect to be applied to your ship's hull if your shields are down, but you won't have any issue if your shields are up. This corrosion will drop off on its own though, so don't start heating your ship up or getting worried if it does get applied to you. Real quick, I did want to show a combined close-up of some of the distinguishing lights. They are very small, and with the way the pods move unpredictably, any video of them I took was shaky cam on steroids. And to round us out, of course, I wanted to show you the Astra Trees, where we assume that the pods come from. So there are 3 known variants of Astra Tree. Similar in construction to the Peduncle Tree, the Astra Tree is more compact and has a lot more spikes around its core. This white variant is the Cereum. Next up is the Prasinum Astra Tree, which is probably my favorite of all of them, since it has more of a muted brown structure to contrast the green of the Prasinum pods that are still attached. And last up is the Rubellum, with red all over, of course matching the pod of the same name. Well, this is everything I've got on the Aster Pod and the Aster Tree. I'd like to thank you for watching, and let me know in the comments what you thought of the Aster things, or anything else you've got. And of course, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't. In the video description, I've included the systems listed in the Codex where the Aster items can be found, in case you want to head out there yourself, but please go prepared. Join me again for another Elite Dangerous Codex video, where I'll be jumping, so you don't have to.